So we'll start with the indexes analysis. We'll first start with NDX, then take TSX, and we'll go on to the stocks that are requested by our members. So starting with NDX, as we can see on the daily chart, the last two sessions have been red days and the indicators are downward. Look at Williams-R, CCI, RSI. All three indicators are downward. One stochastic indicator has not reached oversold region, but is still downward. If you look at the weekly chart, the last candle, it is touching the lower Bollinger Band, but the lower Bollinger Band is still downwards. Although indicators are in oversold region, we can expect if there's some news in the Europe, which is not in favor of the markets, then it could drop little further. But further during the week, we can also expect reversal, probably mid of week or towards the end of the week. Vivek sir, would you like to comment?
No, I think you're going good. You're going good. Even the last candle is an inverted hammer.
Yes.
Which is a bearish candle.
Right. So for trading tomorrow, we would recommend to just watch how market plays. In the pre-market, we might get an indication, but ideally towards the end of the market, it would be clear if the market is reversing or is further falling. If
just one thing, Kamal, your super trend is flattish.
Yes.
Both weekly and daily, it is flattish. Now this is a week. So even the week is flattish, even the daily is flattish and just turned down now. So that means market will be sideways market. Just on the daily chart, it is curving down. Super trend is curving down. If it is curving down, means it's taking a dip further. But if super trend remains flattish, it will be a sideways movement within a very small tube range. So the whole thing will be news driven, and only news will be able to, if there is a positive news which comes in, it could spike up completely and move up. If there is a confirmation that there is no war happening, but with the way trend is happening, you have one news for 4 hours, another news, right, the opposite news for the next 4 hours. So it is an hourly news bulletin which is coming out between US and Russia, and which is the reason why markets are moving sideways. Super trend is clearly indicating to you that. Sure. That is my input for the day.
Yeah, totally agree. So let's see what's happening on TSX. On TSX, on daily chart, if we see again, last two candles are red, and if you look at closely on the last candle, it has formed almost Mariwazu, though there is a very small big wick both on upside and down, but it has formed a red candle which is falling from up to down, going from above mid Bollinger Band towards lower mid Bollinger Band, which means we can expect TSX stocks to fall further. This super trend here is flat, though the lower Bollinger Band has curved, but the indicators are downward. So TSX definitely looks red, at least in the coming few sessions.
On TSX, and just go back. On TSX, the last two candles are almost Marubazu candles. The second last has a wick on both, small wicks on both sides, but it is ready to form 3 black rows. The third last candle is again a doji but a gravestone, which is the reason why it gave you 2 almost red Maru Bazus. So when the third candle will be formed, which is 99% going to be a red candle, it will be 3 black crows. So then automatically you can expect some more correction happening in TSX. Now, all these are all, I look at it that there's a very strong support somewhere near around 20,600 or 20,500. Come lower down, lower, come lower down, or much more low. So 20,500 is a strong support. Lower down. Yeah, about 500 or 520 is a strong support. So from there, the buying could happen. Number one. Number two, you realize the stochastic is about to cross over also. If stochastic crosses over, you may take a dip on Tuesday, open with a dip, and then you could turn around if stochastic crosses over and gives you that climb. But immediately, I would look at it. It's a red day tomorrow, at least on TSX.
Yes.
Because that is also the super trend support line is also forming at about 20,730 or 2,800. Yeah, 2,800 is a support trend which is forming. So I would look at it just that it will be a red day on Tuesday, and thereafter it may turn around, because I think stochastic should turn up, and because they're very close, a crossover is about to happen on stochastic. Yes, weekly chart.
Yeah, even on weekly chart, it has dropped below the mid Bollinger Band, and it's a clear red Maru Bazu. So drop on TSX in the coming week, at least from the indicators, is clear on weekly chart. The indicators are downward. So coming week, at least on TSX, you can expect that the stocks are going to drop further. At least the large cap stocks, the major stocks, if you are holding, you could either exit positions or take your call based on the downward trend. Any question on the indexes, Rafakat, Mahesh, or do you want to share your opinion?
No, I have a question. So regarding stocks that are there, for example, both in TSX and in NASDAQ, like Shop, for example. So in such situations where, one exchange is going in one direction, another one is, let's say, undecided or going in an opposite direction. So what is the impact on such stocks? They always, I've been seeing, for example, for Shop, there's always a difference, even when it is going up or going down. There's always like maybe 0.5%, sometimes even 1% difference when there's a huge drop, for example, a 10% drop or 11% drop. Yeah. So how those things are connected together for such a stock?
Right. That's a good question. So Shop, because it is traded on NYSE and TSX, most of the time Shop being one of the highly traded stock on TSX, Shop's trend actually impacts TSX index trend. Whereas NYSE, since it has large number of stocks, NYSE's trend impacts Shop's trend.
Yeah.
So if NYSE is moving upward and Shop kind of follows NYSE's trend, and Shop's trend impacts TSX trend. So most of the time you will notice the US market indexes trend are kind of followed by TSX, but with some lag. And that happens because of the stocks which are dual listed, the stocks which are listed on US exchanges. Those exchanges trend impacts the stocks which are traded there and are listed on TSX as well. So TSX index follows them. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. So we'll now go on to the stocks that are requested. I had shared the list. Let me just pull up. Rafakat had requested for shop. We'll go on to shop. Let me get complete list.
You have shop on a list anyway.
Yeah.
Second or third last from on the bottom.
Right. So Rafakat and Vivek had requested for shops analysis. We will take shop first. And we'll do analysis of shop on NYSE, although similar analysis would apply on TSX as well. So for shop, if you look at last 4 sessions after the earnings, it had a huge gap down and then followed by 2 red days. And then the last session was red doji. However, because of this red doji, we see Williams has reversed. Let me just add some more indicators here. We'll have CCI and just remove the ATR. We'll have super trend.
Super trend give you 7-2.
Right. So although indicators have reversed, but if you look on the weekly trend, it had formed a huge red candle. The indicators are still downward on the weekly trend. There's a support here, which it kind of took support and held, but still in terms of super trend, the super trend is downward on weekly chart. And as we discussed on the TSX index analysis, we can still expect even shop to drop little further. If the European news from Europe is positive and US markets reverse, then we can expect shop to reverse as well. However, on Monday, it would be good to just watch how it trades.
On Tuesday.
Possibly. Yeah,
on Tuesday. On Tuesday, it will be good to watch.
Yeah, on Tuesday, it would be good to watch. And possibly towards the end of the week, we could expect some reversal. Not immediately on Tuesday, probably on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. We could expect some correction if the market reverses. So for Tuesday, we would recommend to watch, see how it trends, because it's a red doji. And as you would have learned, watch what happens in the next trading session to take the decision. Vivek sir, would you like to add?
Just one keen observation that in the last 3 days, this is a weekly chart here. Last 3 days, volume has started falling again back. It had lost volume for the last about 10, 12 days. picked up in the last 3 days, and now the volume is again dipping down. Now with the volume dipping, possibly when the last 3 days prior the volume went up was basically because they were selling and there were strong hands buying. I try to look at it that way. That the retailers were selling or feeling the pressure, and the deep pockets were buying, right? So which is why I look at it this way, that possibly the volume is also dipping. The buying volume is also dipping and the selling volume is also dipping. So, and it being a doji, it's given us good results anyway. I don't know why it fell down for 3 days, but it did fail. So I expect a reversal. If not, I think by Thursday it should be on the way up. It should reverse by Thursday latest, if not earlier. I think Mahesh has some point. Mahesh, you raised your hand. Please unmute and speak. Mahesh has also shared a file on the chat. List of American companies listed in America. Mahesh, please unmute and speak.
Hey.
We can't hear you. No worries. Whenever your mics are ready, please speak up.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing the list of companies. Okay. Rafakat, any question on shop?
No, it is clear. Yeah.
Okay, great. So we see that you have requested about 4 to 5 more. So we will take one from EV sector and then go on to others request. The remaining ones we will
fine.
do analysis offline. Okay.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
So from Lucid Neo, which one would you prefer?
Let's say Lucid.
Okay. Let's take LCID. So Lucid, it had touched mid Bollinger Band and has reversed down. Again, last two candles, since the second last candle, as you can notice, it's a gravestone. Downward trend you would have already expected. The indicators are also down. So next session, you can expect it to drop further around 25.75. It has a support which it actually honored on during the last session. It touched and got pulled up. However, if the downward trend continues, this support could get broken and it could drop down further closer to the.
I come on?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Finally, I have been talking, but it wasn't working.
Yeah.
Continue. I will talk later.
Yeah.
Okay,
all right.
Sure. So we'll looking on the weekly chart. Although the last candle is green, but it's again gravestone, and 100 EMA is at 23.68. So you could expect it to drop further down at least until 100 EMA, or if the further downtrend continues, then the 200 EMA on weekly chart around 18.45 could be the price where you could consider to average down if you're currently holding it.
But I think 100 EMA will hold at 2368 or 2350. It should hold.
Yes, 100 EMA looks to be a strong support.
Very strong support.
This is on a weekly chart.
Yeah, so it's on a very strong support. The 2368 or 2350 should be a very strong hold.
Yeah, so if I draw a horizontal line here, you can see this we are seeing on the weekly chart. It has held this many times. So 100 EMA looks to be a very strong support for this. If you are holding, you watch for this level and if it reverses, you could consider to average down in small quantity. Yeah, that 100 EMA line, if you notice, the lower Bollinger Band is also coming to that level. In coming session,
Yeah.
this lower Bollinger Band could turn up to this 100
The
EMA
lower
level.
Bollinger Band is already curved up. So after the ballooning, now the contraction is in the process. And if it contracts, the balloon contracts and becomes a tubular form, you can expect the tube to continue for sideways for some time before the again expansion starts. But the contraction has already started. The upper Bollinger Band is coming down. The lower Bollinger Band has curved up.
Yeah, that's right.
Right? So the bands have now started contracting and squeezing itself. So which is why, if you look at it, the past week movements for right from January last week till now, this is a daily chart. It has been in a very small narrow band. The price is moving in a very small narrow band. It may look big, but it is actually a very small narrow band. I think between 26 and 30 or 31 is the band that it is moving in. Yeah, 26 and 30, 75. That is the band the price is moving in. So just a $4 band.
What is the ATR on?
Coming in?
ATR, average true range?
Average traded range, yes.
$2 on daily chart.
Okay, that's not actually bad.
Yeah.
That's 50% of the band.
Yeah.
What you are talking.
Yeah, exactly. Within 50% of the band, and it is roaming within a $4 or $4.50 movement. So either it is being consolidated or a distribution happening. So if you look at a larger duration, you will know whether it's consolidation or distribution. But that is where I believe the price is, and the volume is still low as compared to what it was in December and Jan.
Right. So with the ATR, you can expect it to be closer to the lower Bollinger Band by Thursday.
Which is also 100 EMA or 100 SMA. 100 EMA. Yeah.
100 EMA on the weekly chart.
Yeah. 100
Kamal,
EMA.
I have one.
Yes, Mahesh. Please.
Yeah,
please
I have a question from beginning,
yeah.
Due to my mic wasn't working, I did. Anyway, so is our analysis just for this week trade, Tuesday to Friday, or is it like we are trying to do analysis on a bigger time frame? What is it like? Because so far what I'm listening is it is taking just this week into consideration. But are we going to do analysis based on the larger time frame as well?
Well, you can take it for larger time frame. We can take it for larger time frame too. But immediately the query has been raised up, that means people are already within the trade or they are getting worried. So we are giving them an immediate effect of what can happen in the next 1 week. But at the same time, when we look at a weekly chart, you all have been explained this umpteen number of times. When you look at a weekly chart, your targets will come in at least two months or more. So your targets will come earlier only if you're looking at a day chart. But if you're looking at a weekly chart, your targets will be much later.
Okay.
Right? Yeah. But we could do the analysis for long term also. That is not an issue.
No, I'm just curious about so I have a context when I'm listening to the discussion. True. I just have a context. That's what I'm saying.
No, very right.
And I'm talking in the longer time frame without any targets, basically.
No.
What your
thoughts are right.
Kind of approach.
Your thoughts are right. Your thinking is right, and your thoughts are right.
Yeah, and since we are planning to have weekly sessions, so at least the indexes analysis, we are looking for the coming week, which is this week, what trend we can expect for the stocks that are traded on those index and the stocks that are requested by our members. Although the stocks that are requested, we can discuss for even longer term, but for indexes.
No, that's okay. Kamal, we don't have to discuss for longer term. It's just for me to stay in the context. That's all.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Great. Welcome. Okay, so we'll move on to the next request, which is from Rama. So Rafakat, you are okay with Lucid, right?
You said
And
right.
we'll share analysis for others.
Yeah, I'm fine. Yeah,
offline.
let's move on. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So moving on to Rama's request of PLTR. So PLTR had earnings this week on Thursday, and similar to Shopify, it has also gapped down after the earnings. There was a lot of social media buzz on Twitter and all, and as some of us were expecting that it could gap down, and it had gapped down. Then the last session it has formed a red candle, and as Vivek sir would say for this as well, that we can expect 3 black crows. So next session
Very easily.
further drop. If you are looking to enter, we would suggest to hold on, looking at the daily chart itself.
Yes, I would suggest hold on till you don't see a reversal sign, because if the third candle on Tuesday is again a red candle or a bearish candle, you are in for a long run. It will go further down. So then, till you don't get a clean reversal meant to fill the recent gap, because there's a gap which has to be filled in. The clean reversal will come to fill the gap. So if you see a clean reversal, your first target will be the gap height, which is almost 1360 or 1340, 1350. So that should be your first target whenever you enter. Once you see a reversal only, not before that. Because 2 back-to-back red candles with good volume, I would always expect the third day to be red also. If you're lucky, if you don't get a third red candle, then the 3 black crows are negated. And at the cross of the high of yesterday's trade, you could look at taking an entry. At the cross of a high of yesterday's trade, which is nothing but 12. If it crosses 12 conclusively and holds for about an hour, only then enter the trade. Currently at 11.02. So if it goes up by $1 and stays there for 1 hour at least, only then enter the trade for a target of 1350. Not before that.
As we see, lower Bollinger Band has bent downward, super trend is downward. So that also confirms you can still expect it to drop further. If you look on the weekly chart, the lower Bollinger Band is downward. There's a support here at around 10.
No, lower.
Yeah,
970. 970.
Yeah, one support here at 10, and the stronger support would be at 940.
Yeah, 940.
Which could be a good entry point if you are looking to enter this for longer term.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. So we'll move on to next stock, which is pins.
No, that's again by Ram. So
Yeah.
take the Krish's sector first. Krish also has suggested. I asked for 2.
Right. So we'll
All
finish
right.
off.
Take pins. No issue.
Yeah, we'll finish off with Rama, and then we'll go
Yeah.
to Krish request. Okay. So for pins, it has been in downtrend since last Feb. It consolidated for some time, and then from last July it has been on continuous downtrend. And at the current level, although there is support, and this we are looking on the weekly chart.
No.
but still it can drop further. This level of around 2470, it acted as support and resistance previously in 2019 and 2020, but the current trend is still downward even on the weekly chart. So for pins, in my opinion, it's better not to enter unless you are currently holding and looking to average down and close your position at lesser loss.
Even if you're holding it, I would suggest stay out of it. I would still suggest book your losses, because weekly, if you look at the trend, the angle is pretty acute. The angle is almost about 45 degree plus. On a weekly chart, if your trend line will take you into a channel of 45 degree plus, you are in a very bad shape. Your 200 EMAs, all your EMAs are above and way above. Nobody's close to you. Nobody. The earliest your close is 10 EMA, which is 32. Or yeah, the earliest your close is at 30, and you're currently at 23 or 24. You're very far away. So if you're holding pins, you could either learn to book your losses earlier now, or keep it as a long-term investment, wait for it to reverse, because this is in a long-term downtrend. This is a weekly downward channel. So it won't reverse that fast. If you are looking for a reversal, another 50% down is expected, or about 18 of 17. 1 second. Yeah, come lower down. Yeah, 18. Around 18 is the first time you can expect a downward trend, which is another $5 lower. That is another about 20% down. So I would, if you are not entered this stock, thank your stars. Don't even think about entering it now. Your entry price should be something around 18. So if you want to average and you're holding it, please don't average immediately. Wait for it to come down to 19 or 18, and then around that price, learn to average it. Or average it when you see a very conclusive reversal. That means the trend has to be broken. Even the day chart, the trend is almost a 30 degree angle.
Okay, so for this, we would recommend to average down or enter around 18. Until then, it's better to stay away from pins. Now we'll go on to Chris' request of Fubo. Fubo, in the last 3 sessions, it has almost formed 3 black crows. It's in oversold region, but if you look at the weekly chart,
Is it a recent listing?
It's not so recent. Means it started in early to 2020.
All right. Because it was early 2020, because currently it's just showing you flat on a weekly chart.
So let's go on to the.
No, just stick to date chart only.
Yeah.
But just zoom out so you can see a bigger canvas. That's it. That's it. Clear.
I think it was consolidated before for some time.
Yes. Yeah. It's in a clear downtrend. Clear downtrend.
It has been on downtrend in the last few sessions. It has fallen steeply.
No.
So,
it gives you a bounce back after 6-7 trades of a downtrend. Gives you 2 or 3 days of bounce up, and then again brings it down.
Right. So in the next session, we can expect it to
go further.
Further. And
Yeah.
if the market reverses as we are discussing on Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday, then it
Yeah.
could
No,
pull
but
back.
that will only be
little.
a temporary bounce back, but that will be a very short-term trading activity if you look at FUBO. Very short-term trading activity. Because all the bounces that it gives you gets eaten away within 2 or 3 days only. It doesn't give you a bounce of more than 2 or 3 days. So if you have not entered FUBO, please stay out of FUBO completely.
And if someone is entering for short term, the
Yeah.
target should be close to mid Bollinger Band.
Yes.
It shouldn't be more than 2 to 3 days trade if entering for very short term.
Upper limit here. Upper limit trades.
Okay. So we'll take last as FSLY.
FSLY.
So I think it is fastly and it has gone down fastly. Yeah.
That is a gap down.
Upon earnings, it had gap down. In the last session, it tried to touch the lower Bollinger Band, but it has not touched and it gave lower closing. With the market trend, again, even for FSLY, although on the weekly chart, it has already touched the lower Bollinger Band and is very close to this support level, this support on the weekly chart. Around here, if you look at the weekly chart, support at close to 9,
Lower.
is 1816. So in the last session, it touched to 1870. In the next session, it could touch close to 18, which could be a entry price. As previously, it had a good support at close to 18.
But last week candle volume bar is phenomenally high.
Yeah. So I think around 18 with a strong or a closer stop loss.
Yes.
This is at 16. So with closer stop loss under 16. And the next buy would be at 13.25.
Yeah.
So for FSLY, can watch in the next session. And if it reverses close to 18, could enter with a stop loss under few cents under $16.
No. Sorry, Kaval. I've just seen something just now. Look at a Bollinger Band expanding and look at the support trend indicator just two candles prior. So the support trend has just given you a sell signal. So I would say if you have not entered, don't think of entering it now. The Bollinger Band has just started expanding. So it can remain in a oversold position for quite some time. So, and the support trend has just given you a signal 2 days back. So on Thursday, it gave you a signal of a sell. So at this point of time, and that comes to me immediately after the earnings.
Yes.
So at this point of time, you look at ATR, it is falling. Williams on a CCI, I'm not worried because it can stay in a oversold period for a longer duration. Volumes have gone up and you're watching a day chart. So if you have not entered this stock, please don't enter at 18 or even 17. Look for an entry price of around 13 or 12.50, not before that. I'm talking about very long because your supports, if you look at this thing, is only over there. It comes to around 12 or 13.
So this is weekly chart.
Yeah, but this is the weekly chart. It comes around 12 or 13 only, not before that.
13.25.
Yeah. So something around either 12, 13 or max, if you really want to get into it earlier, 15. I'm giving you ballpark figures. I'm not giving you actual figures. Actual figures can have to be studied on the chart after drawing your support and resistance, but that's the way it would be.
Okay. So I think we have covered this request except Rafakat's request, which the remaining ones we'll do offline.
Yeah.
Any
Anybody else
additional request?
Anybody else has any requests now?
Can I share my analysis on the shop, which is not
Sure.
for a weekly basis, but for a I am speaking from the investment
Which one?
purpose.
Which one? Shop
For the
or which one?
Shopify.
Shopify.
Yes,
For the
sure.
shop.
Just one. Let him
Do
open.
you want me to
open.
stop sharing? Would you like to share your screen, or
Yeah,
you
I
want
will
to
share my screen. I have it here. Okay,
Yeah.
this is not Teams again.
Oh, this is shop. Yeah.
Should I stop sharing? Do you want to share?
Yeah, could you
please
just
do
tell
that.
me where is the screen? Okay, I see the share screen here. You cannot
Yeah.
share screen while other person is sharing. Okay. Okay. Let me know if you guys can see my screen.
Yes, we can see your screen.
Okay, so I'm doing the Shopify NYSE, and I'm on the daily chart, 1 day chart over here.
Yeah.
As per me, it is in a really good downtrend at this point. I am only looking for the entry point because I want to go long. Long could be anywhere between 2 months to, actually my original plan is to 3 to 5 years holding, but even for the swing trading, it is going to be 2 to 3 months at this point, the way the market is moving. So it started downtrend somewhere over here, then it kind of gave us the behavior of going within the channel. You could call it descending triangle over here if some people want to read it, which I don't. And this is kind of channel parallel for me. Then it dropped, and then again it made a channel which is just going sideways, then it dropped. So as per my analysis, the next support I'm looking is 515, and if it bounces back from here, at least 2 bottoms, not just bounce back once, it should have at least 2 bounce backs. Then I will take a position somewhere above 520. But as investor, I'm not still looking at the point, because at this point, this chart is choppy for me to say where is going to be my target profit. But if it cannot hold 515 range, then it is going to drop to 418. So my bet on reaching 515 is 75% at this time, and then it is 418. I will just explain how I can get to the 418 as well. But if it breaks below that, which is anything can happen in the market, but as per my experience, that's very slim chance. It can get up to this point, but not below. Then it is a really bad situation of 326. So my investment lines are these 3 in any case. And how I can decide 418 and stuff is I have to go back little in time and see. So if you look at my second line, 418, this is the average support line. And the next bottom over here is at 326. My thing covers like 80% range. I don't really put on the bottom of the wicks or something, because this gives me a really good of exit before people start to see the reverse trend. So my profit ranges are small compared to the other people if I do this, but at least I'm making some money. That's how I see it. So these are my trading things, and I look at the ATR as well, just to understand. Sometimes, because all these things are driven by price, right, on the market. And the market is heavily bearish at this point, which is really crazy. Some people are, even big companies and investors are looking if this is a recession. So I'm definitely not to enter any trades. Just even though I know the range over here, I'm not going to do it. I better be investor, because I will have less headache and I will make at least 8 to 10% profit by the end of the year, if not at all, without taking any headache. Get in once, average down, and then you make the money. With the day trading and other thing, I'm staying away from it for now.
That's a good decision, Mahesh. Very good decision. Mahesh, can you do one thing? Can you draw a trend line onto it? for a new trend line for right from starting from mid-November.
Mid-November.
Yeah. And thanks, Mahesh, for sharing your analysis. We were discussing in the hand-holding session as well that if you are thinking to invest for longer term, wait until March end or April to start investing. In about 2 months' time, the market direction would be more clearer, and it would be good to invest that time rather than investing now. So looking at your chart and the levels that you are looking to enter for longer term, the timelines around that would be good for you to enter around those levels.
Thank you, Kamal. Definitely, I will keep that in mind. For now, I'm going to average down. I'm not going to enter everything one shot. And like I said, it is 3 to 5 years goal for me.
Right. Yeah. So
Because
there's no,
I remember
yeah.
buying the semiconductor MU at $5 in 2012. Let me just quickly type. And due to financial situation, I have to get out. And from 2012, right now it is $98, like at least. If I stay put, even today, as of today, if you look at the price on the closing, my $5 investment was $90. So what I learned in my trading experience of life, all this day trading only cost me headache for me. I always pick the right stocks, but I did not stay in them I could not see the longer picture. These are all growth stocks. I picked many of these. Like today I regret very much. In 2012, I bought this for $5.60 or something.
That's great. It's almost.
Yeah, like I regret now.
18
That's why now
times.
I'm deciding like, no, I'm not going to do the trading because okay, I'm not comfortable when people are watching the screen. It's like developer thing. I need to do my development in the isolation. So I'm going to cancel screen share. But anyway, I shared the Sophie thing, which I wanted to, not Sophie, Shopify. So, yeah, but definitely, Kamal, I will keep that in mind. I'm slowly going to invest into the stocks. I'm not going to jump like for trading purpose. And my goal here, honestly, this is 418. I'm expecting it to be, honestly, I'm telling you, by 2026, which is, we are in 2022, like 4 to 5 years, this stock is going to be value of $1,200. It's going to be anywhere above $1,000 to $1,200. So why should I take headache unnecessarily? Throw the money and sit, let it grow. It is the next competition for Amazon, and they're doing really good.
And if you look at January 2020, it was around $300.
Yeah, January 2020 here. Yeah.
Yeah. And then by end of November last year, it had reached almost $1,700. And it's just on a downward trend, retracing back. But as you rightly said, by around 2025 or 2026, once it takes uptrend, it could easily reach those levels again.
Yeah, but all this again, this is all shenanigans happening because big investors are pulling the money out and doing the other nonsense going on in the market, whether it is news or whatever, anything. So this company is definitely a good investment company. This is not something I would trade. I rather keep it for my investment portfolio.
Yes,
absolutely. But anyway,
And
guys,
also,
if somebody is looking for the trades, it has a range of like here. I would not enter it this week because this week is going to be super volatile, either bullish or bearish in both ways.
Both ways.
Next
Yes.
week is the really good, interesting week to take any position, either for small trade like a day trade or 2 to 3 days trade or a week trade, something. Everything has to be done next week. This week is for professionals, in my opinion.
Very true.
It's going to be highly volatile.
Yes, very true.
Hi, the open interest for this is around 700 to 750. So I
You're
feel like it can
options?
go. Yeah, on options, this is around 700 to 750.
Okay.
Probably if it is going back, it can go there and it can come down.
Yeah, honestly, I'm looking for my bounce back if at all anything market turns, the entire market. I'm not talking Shopify. The entire market has to turn positive, bullish. Then it could reach up to somewhere where I put it like this mark before I draw it. Like, yeah, it's near 1000 mark for me, honestly. So 700 is a very conservative call, which I really like. If it even makes that point, if it drops 550 and makes 700, that is a really, really good profit.
That's as good as a 50% profit, my dear sir.
It's really good profit. I don't know what to say. Like, I'm telling you, if somebody can make 5% profit in a market as of today,
Yes.
without losing money, and I'm taking out of 10 trades, I'm not even saying one trade. Average 5% on 10 trades is not possible because it's so volatile. I have never seen markets dropping stocks like this because of the completely new retailers in the market and algos going on, everything. I'm still trying to understand what is happening here. I'm not getting the pulse.
No, I agree. I completely agree with you, Mahesh. Things are becoming bad. Things are becoming very volatile. And the people who are being actually crushed are the retail traders who actually come in thinking that people have made good money during COVID times while trading from home, and now realizing they can continue doing that even when the economy is opening up in a staggered manner. But yes, now is the time when the retailers will get completely crushed and pushed out.
Completely. Yeah, I completely agree. And one lesson, if I have to suggest anybody, make trading your seasonal business, not every day.
Yes.
What I mean is like you only trade during March through September. Those months are good enough for you, and 2 more months of November and December. And remaining times, don't go into the market. Why I say that? Okay, don't go into the market again. I want to clarify. When I say trade during this time, after this time, shutter down. Sell all your positions. Don't hold any positions. And November, December, open your shutter and do some trading and shut it down by January, basically. Why I say that is you get a relaxation from the trading market and you rejuvenate yourself for the next cycle and you have some profit in the hand, which you can enjoy. What is the point of making all the profits and never you take one single penny out of it? The greatest example for myself is me. I made big money in the stock market, but I never pulled it out. I always pumped it up. It's like I'm building a muscle like, okay, I need to pump up more. And 2008 crashed and it butchered me. 2 nights, I lost 50K US.
Absolutely.
So just 2 nights. One day it dropped 32K. I said, okay, it may bounce. And next day it crashed, then that's it. So I still remember those days. So now I'm completely changing my psychology, what I did wrong. I never took the money out. I never put it to investment like Vivek sir has pointed out. I was like a very aggressive trader. So I suggest anybody new here or anybody doing, try to enjoy your hard work. It is not easy, stock market. You make money, enjoy that, take a vacation out of it, pull 3,000 out, remaining into investment, take a trip, go to some other country. That will teach you how to make more and more money, not to be an addict to the stock market, waking up in the morning, 6 o'clock, running the CNBC channel and what the Kramer guy hammers on the news. I was one of those guys. In 2000, I literally used to wake up 6 o'clock, watch the CNBC and that nonsense Kramer guy for some time. So I'm blabbing here, but guys, if you are doing, just fit your time frame into the market where it works for you and take break.
Those are words of wisdom, Mahesh. Really, really words of wisdom for all the traders watching the show.
Yeah. I learned by paying $50,000. Expensive lesson.
Yes, it's a princely amount, but if you ask me, it's a small penny for the wisdom that you got.
Yeah, but now I have certain level of different approach toward the market. I'm not jumping in right now.
True.
I want to do it and throw the money in there, let it work for me. And okay, now on the topic, I just want to go back to the stocks which Rama has mentioned in the Excel spreadsheet. Very particular about Fubo and FSLY. These are high growth stocks, like they are in black. If I have to speak the market language, the term they are in black, meaning they are not in profit, but the day they turn into profit, they are going to be super huge. So those are high risk stocks. These are not the only ones. Fubo, FSLY, there are some other, there are plenty of other stocks anyway. All these stocks will get hammered first when the bearish market comes, not the big companies. So if you are in these stocks, either you close the positions and don't enter again, or you become a bag holder. It is not your choice. You will become a bag holder, I'm telling you.
Absolutely.
And Fubo is not going to give you any result until next 1.5 years to 2 years.
So then it is good to wait it out, or good to stay on the sides, watch it fall, and enter only at the appropriate price, just when it turns around and reverses, not before that.
Exactly.
But they're good stocks to keep on a watch list. Good stocks to keep on a watch list and to track them through.
Right. I mean, if somebody wants to enter, they can enter. Again, it is going to, like you said, sir, it is going. Yes. FSLY and Fubo has another 10 to 20% drop there, actually.
Yes, comfortably. So might as well wait. Why hold your positions now? Right. Book your losses and buy the same thing at a lower price.
Right.
That's what
I will do that in the bullish market, which is
of course. Once the market changes the trend, not before that. Yeah. Kamal,
like Kamal mentioned.
Yeah.
Like Kamal mentioned, I hope March will be the beginning. March second week is going to be the beginning of bullish market, but we never know, right? Anything can happen anytime.
Yeah, it should. But I'm not expecting the war to take place at all. This war, conflict, and statements will keep coming in. But then, as time passes by, the world will now learn to ignore those statements. So, give it a week more. You've already heard these statements for a week or 2 weeks now. A week more of this turmoil. And after that, the stock markets will ignore Russia-Ukraine conflict. They will just learn to ignore it, because the retention power is only for 3 weeks. After that, some other news will start hogging the headlines. That's my take on it.
But in reality, if Russia does attack Ukraine, let's say, which is, I don't know what are the percentage of chances, but if Russia does attack US, then energy sector is to go into the stocks. Just go into the oil stocks right away.
Of course. The whole thing is nothing but who blinks first. It's between Russia and US, and Ukraine is only being made a sandwich between the two players. The European allies of NATO are not willing to pump in the funds nor the armies into it. So it is just posturing around happening, and a counter statement to every statement being issued by either party. So nothing else. Yeah. So that's the way I look at it. I don't expect the war to take place out at all. I agree with you. I always make the statement that a war will pull the warring countries behind by at least 2 decades. And neither Russia nor Ukraine can afford a 2-decade debacle at this stage of life. So they don't want to be pulled back by another 2 decades. So we will never go in for war. Never. Never for
that part. I am a little bit doubtful. I'm not disagreeing with you, but things are a little bit crazy with these leaders nowadays, because Russia is a different powerful country. But like you said, going with the NATO, Germany and France are not in favor. And the other reason is also the Balkans and every other things, even though they do not like Russians, the entire European sector depends on Russia for the oil import.
Exactly.
If they do that, they are completely screwed. Their economies are not good. They will not let US attack him. Unless Russia really provokes and does something stupid,
no,
the war is very slim chance in that case.
Very, very slim chance. I'm not expecting a war at all. Yeah. I look at it this way, that US is trying to sell its arms and ammunition to Ukraine. That's it. It's a business deal. So they are provoking to sell the arms and ammunition, and nothing else will happen. I don't look at anything else happening in that Ukraine and Russia problem. Nothing will happen. All right. Let's, I believe Vivek has requested for some stocks. Kamal, are you around?
Yeah, I would just like to add one point for Mahesh long-term analysis. Mahesh, thanks for sharing your analysis on Shopify. One stock which I would suggest you to watch for long term would be Google, because Google has announced 1:20 split, which is going to happen in July. So currently it is at 2600. I'm expecting it to drop to 2500. If it reverses
Nice.
around 2500, it would be good time to buy and hold until split happens or after the split.
Okay,
Although
I
this
would.
is a very short term, but if you are planning to enter around March end or April 1st or 2nd week, when the market trend reversal has been confirmed, you can also hold it for longer term, because
Right. No,
like
thank you, Kamal.
Shopify, yeah,
Yeah,
like
I'm not going to enter
Shopify,
everything in one single shot. Like Vivek sir said, that's what I have been doing. I'm going to invest money little by little, not at one time. So, but definitely I will add Google to my investment watch list.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And my first entry is definitely going to be, I have decided after doing my groundwork yesterday. I did share this message with Kamal on the private chat, but I also think I also shared it on the premium group that I'm looking to invest in Microsoft, Adobe, and Shopify. So
Yeah.
I have definitely chosen my first investment is going to be Microsoft. Microsoft seems very promising, like really good going into future than any of these companies. So definitely Microsoft. Now I will add Google. Then I will do some more research. I'm waiting for Shopify to drop. Microsoft is immediately you can take a position, in all honesty, like it is 290 somewhere, I think.
yes,
So,
yes. So
because right
in
now
fact,
the best stock for me to enter out of these ones are Microsoft.
right, absolutely. I was talking with Kamran Dev for yesterday, and we have actually put a buy limit at $280. Currently, it is at 285 after market, and
Right.
just look, if it reverses around 282 is also a good entry point for Microsoft.
Yeah, I'm not looking for reversals actually. I'm just buying at support levels just to be if it comes, because I will put in like $500, $1,000. That's what I'm planning to do. And slowly I will invest only $300, $400 every month.
That's a good long-term investment plan.
Yeah, so I'm not worried. Like that is the peace of mind with the investment. You throw the money in a good company and sit, it will grow.
Very true.
Okay.
Very true.
Right. So moving on to, we'll take analysis for NPI, which Vivek has requested. Vivek, the other two we will take offline. Okay, since we are almost time and we are planning to have this session only for 1 hour. So we will take NPI as the last request for today's session. And the other two requests of yours, we will take it offline. Okay.
Sure.
So NPR and TSX is Northland Power.
Yes.
Okay. Right. So Northland Power, as we also saw on the weekly chart, even though the market has been on downtrend with this turmoil, the stock has reversed around mid of Jan. It reversed, it touched upper Bollinger Band, then had a correction, and then it has been on downtrend since first week of Feb. So Vivek, just before we comment, are you currently holding it or you are thinking to enter?
No, I'm thinking to enter. I
Okay.
mean, not at this level, but it's in my watch list.
Right. So it looks to be a good stock to enter based on the trend. Even on weekly chart, it has reversed. There's a confirmation of reversal. It touched mid Bollinger Band, almost touched the mid Bollinger Band and gave closing last week. So ideal entry would be around the support around 36.3, or look for mid Bollinger Band, or the next support would be around 35.62. If, as we analyzed at the start, TSX is expected to be in downtrend this week, and if the volume is higher, sell volume is higher, look for entry near the lower Bollinger Band level where this could be a strong support. So 35.20 would be a good buy for longer term. The first entry could be around the mid Bollinger Band, around 36.20, a $1 higher price. If it drops with higher volume, wait for reversal or entry around 35.2. Since on the weekly chart it has reversed, you can hold it for 4 weeks plus for your targets above the mid Bollinger Band. The super trend level is at $40 and the upper Bollinger Band is at 41. So even if you enter at say 36.5, you have an upside of plus $4.
So
Vixen, would you like to add?
I don't suggest 36.5. I would rather suggest the lower one, 35.25 or 35.40. That is the range that I would suggest, Vivek, because your indicators are on overbought position. Slight correction is required. Williams-R, CCI, RSI are all overbought. ATR is falling, so it becomes less volatile. But your indicators are in overbought, so a correction is round the corner. And as the market is expected to correct, the overall trend is expected to correct. This will also correct along with it. Though it is currently moved against the market trend. But ideal buying point, 35.20, 35.40.
Okay,
So
sir.
about $1.50 below. Is this available on your options also? No, I'm asking Vivek because Vivek is doing options. I'm just asking him that.
Sir, I only took the course, sir. I haven't. I'm just learning again.
So that's why I asked you that. How did you track this? The idea of asking you was how did you get the
Sir, our usual screener, sir.
screener, user screener? Lovely.
Yeah,
Lovely,
it's on
lovely.
NPI is on TSX.
Yeah.
I don't see a corresponding listed on NYSE or NASDAQ.
Done. No, he has already mentioned he hasn't seen the option chart. He's only checked it on the user screeners, which is a good pick. Vivek, very good pick. So glad to see that you're still using our screeners and the what you had learned a few months back. You're still continuing with it, though you moved on to the options class. But so glad to see this.
Yeah, definitely, sir.
Yeah.
Sorry, I have a question for Vivek.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yes.
No, sorry, Vivek Krishna. Yeah.
No, both of us will be answering. But you ask. Go ahead and ask.
No, I was. The question was that what was the motivation for picking this stock, Northland Power, is because of the green energy, or are you aware of any other fundamentals that you think that will actually?
No, I only screened it. I only
screen. Yeah. Okay.
And basically in Canada, all these power or we have only a few bunch of reliable stocks in Canada, like Fortis, Northland, you can call Enbridge. So you only have a bunch of them, and that are trading with a high volume and has a high probability of going up. And one such is Northland Power. So that's why I chose it. It's not like in US you have more stocks compared to Canada. But here you have only some that you can trust on. One such
that's right. Why I asked this question, because I've been trying to research the energy sector in Canada for some time, and what I figured out that apart from the bigger companies that you just mentioned, there are lots of smaller companies, and they are in different stages of their development, right? I mean, they're really small companies, a few hundred employees, and they in energy sector, a lot of companies, they suddenly they come to limelight because they get some major projects or some major acquisition or things like that, or maybe they get a new permit to explore in a certain area. So without and this information is very limited. This is not a public information. This is a lot of these companies are started as family companies as well, right? So I've been trying hard to find such a company who will have that kind of fundamentals, but then I figured out that they are closely knit family companies, and this information is really hard to get by, who's getting what contract and what kind of permits and what kind of export agreements, etc. And without such a news, it's actually it's not it's like shooting in the dark, right? Because a 500 employee company having one project somewhere in Saskatchewan, you never know. I mean, some big guy will buy him and it'll become like tenfold, or maybe they will not get the extension or the subsidy that they were hoping from the government, and they'll go bust. So that's why I asked. So, but if you go by the screener, that's still a good way to pick a stock here.
Yeah, for me, the screener has always worked for Canadian stocks because it's more consistent. I see compared to US stocks.
Yeah, good. Thank you.
No problem.
Yeah. So I believe
Well,
yeah, just a moment, Mahesh, I'll come to you. So I believe Vivek would have used screeners on the weekly interval, and the indicator values that we have mentioned in the screeners class would have got this. Is that correct, Vivek?
Yes, man. I actually used monthly interval, weekly, not even
Okay.
weekly.
Okay. That's great. Yeah. On monthly, it has almost touched the lower Bollinger Band and has reversed. Great. Thanks, Vivek.
No
Yes,
problem.
Mahesh.
yeah, Kamal, I just want to answer, like earlier, you were trying to look if NPI was listed on US. I'm not sure if you noticed, I shared Excel file in the chat, which gives you the all the list of Canadian companies which are listed on the US stock market. So that comes really handy for the people who try to trade on Canadian market, which are also listed on the US market. So
That's great.
you can use that file.
Yeah.
And I don't know why people are trading on the Canadian market. Nothing against for me, but it's just I only trade on US markets. Just in case I want to, I don't know if people already know, I just want to share something. Taking Shopify as an example, if you guys buy it on the Canadian side on the TSX market, but then you want to move it over to your US account, you can actually do that. That's what, when you don't have time, you can buy it on the Canadian side. And once the 3 days happens, you can call your brokerage and ask them, okay, journal these shares over to my US account. So they will be journaled over. That will take another 2 to 3 business days. And those exact number of shares will be not exact number of shares, but depending on the pricing, it changes a little bit, but it will be available for you on the US market. Meaning I will buy Shopify 100 shares on my TSX exchange, call my broker, tell them to transfer it over to my US, not transfer. The term you need to use is journal it over to the US account. Then you can move it to the US account. And then you can sell it on the US market.
That's great. Thanks, Mahesh, for sharing that. And for those who are trading in both US and Canadian market, we usually recommend to choose the one on NYSE, as you could take your positions or close your positions in the extended market. And in pre-market or post-market, usually the prices go higher, or you get chance to buy at comparatively lower price, because it does take dip or touches higher resistance, goes above resistance in the extended market. If you are
Completely agreed. Many benefits of trading on the US market: extended hours, heavy volume, you can get a good price, even though TSX is not moving. So there are many benefits for, if a ticker is on both exchanges, it is better to buy on the US side. And just to Vivek, and adding to the Rafakar's comment about Canadian companies, I completely agree what he said. It is very hard to figure it out fundamental wise or the projects wise, anything. So if at all anything you want to trade in Canadian market, the best thing to do is find stocks which are paying dividends. And as such, Canadian dividends are really good. The companies which pay dividends, they pay really decent. So you should go for dividend stocks. That proves a couple of things. Company is very established in Canada. They are not going to go bankrupt. You don't have to worry about the news all the time. And that dividend is tax-free. Whatever they pay is tax-free. So the better investment approach would be is to open the TFSA account and buy the dividend stocks. Whatever you get in Canadian dividends are non-taxable. So that is a better thing to do.
Yeah, that's a very good strategy. Thank you.
Absolutely agree with Mahesh. And Vivek Krishna, I think in sometime in December had shared the list of Canadian companies which give good dividends. He had shared the link on one of the Discord channel. So that's really good strategy for investing in the Canadian stocks, which have good dividends, good dividend yields, and hold for medium to longer term. For active trading, since the volume is higher, the volatility is higher, the returns are good while trading in the US stocks, be it NASDAQ or NYSE. We don't recommend to trade on OTC, which is even more volatile and riskier. Vivek, would you like to add anything?
I totally agree, man. Dividend stocks were one of the things that you can put on your TFSA. It's a good way to build wealth. I totally agree with that.
Another strategy I have never implemented it because my things went different way. But so I am assuming that both of you are from Canada since you guys are talking about Canadian markets. The another best thing to do with the TFSA, you need to learn how to use the tools given by the government to us. That is the key aspect of making money in Canada. So you invest money in the TFSA account, hopefully make some decent amount of profit, right? And you take the profit money and put it in the RRSP like before the March 1st this year. So you get a tax credit on that, but you are locking in money in the RRSP for the longer term, and you get the tax benefit. Whatever the tax benefit you get, you put it back in TFSA again. So you are using the both benefits, which are the minimum benefits which you get from the Canadian government. So make profit in TFSA, take that money, drop it into RRSP. So your tax brackets will go lower. You get some tax credit. For every 1,000, you get $300, kind of, which is living in Canada. You have to consider that as a big amount. Take that money, again, put it back in TFSA, it will start growing again. But RRSP is for the long term, right? Like in TFSA, I cannot contribute more than 6,000, but pretty much all the immigrants would not know about this, so they will have bigger room. This is another strategy if you have used up a big chunk in the TFSA. The second method is doing this way. Rather than going to RRSP first, I would go to TFSA first.
Yes, even I follow the same strategy. I utilize my TFSA contribution room of the year, preferably at the start of the year, sometime in January and Feb. Once that gets used up, then I go to the other registered accounts or non-registered account. Great. So,
all right, lovely.
Really valuable discussion. Thanks everyone, Rafaqat, Mahesh, Vivek Krishna, for sharing your bits. It's really insightful and good to hear different opinions, which can benefit everyone in the GMT community, not only just the learners, but all our GMT members. Thank you for sharing your views. Vivek sir, would you like to say something?
No, I think we had a very good discussion. After a lot of gap, we've had good, healthy discussion. A quick one, of course, shortened discussion, but it was a good discussion. I'm
Right.
so glad we did it.
Yes.
This was long overdue. This was long overdue.
Absolutely. So after this insightful session, we would just like to quickly touch upon the courses that are coming up for those who would be interested in learning from our structured courses. This coming week we are starting our new batch of our trading course, which will start on Friday, 25th of Feb. For course details and registration, you can visit the trading course page. The course, this batch we have scheduled in the evenings. It will be on Friday and Saturday evening from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. It will run from 25th of Feb to 20th of March. The last session will be on Sunday. And we'll make sure the format of the content remains the same, the way we have taken our previous batches. It's just the change in the time. If there are learners who enroll in the course and are not comfortable with this time, we would be flexible to accommodate time so that it suits everyone. And the following week, that is next week, we would be starting with our advanced course, futures and options course from 5th of March, which would be Saturday. It would run from 5th of March to 10th of April. It will be as per the original schedule, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Saturdays and Sundays. Our advanced course batch learners are free to join and refresh each of the topics that are covered. And for the learners in the trading course, they are happy to explore if they would feel confident in learning the advanced topics in the futures and options course. For those interested in starting options, this would be a good course to learn before putting money in options, as options is highly lucrative in terms of returns, but the risks are even higher.
Very true.
Yes. So with that, I think we are almost on time. Vivek sir, would you like to say
So
anything?
I think we have covered everything else. Those who are watching us on YouTube, who want to think about creating a second line of income, a second source of income, use trading as one platform. It's very effective. A large number of our students have started it off as a second line of second source of income. Some of them have shifted from second source to primary source through trading. Now is the time you can invest money on yourself and thereby secure your future also, right? So all I can say is thank you very much. Of course, Mahesh, thank you very much. You gave us a good insight into a lot of other things. So thank you. Rafakat, one of our strong students. Vivek, another student. So thank you very much to all of you also for being with us here. And we are so glad that we could start this session all over again, wherein we are analyzing the indexes as well as a few scripts as requested by our members on various social media platforms. So thank you, everybody. Have a blissful, extended weekend. And yes, that's for those who are sitting in the North American continent. And yes, have a great trading week ahead of you. So thank you, everybody. Thank you very much. Kaval, over to you back.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Vivek sir. And
Thank you,
we would like to wish a very happy family day from GMT family to all our GMT family members and those who are watching us online. So with that, we would be connecting next weekend for a session like this, and hopefully we'll continue every weekend. Those who have requested stocks, we would update the spreadsheet with the buy and sell levels and share in the Discord groups and the WhatsApp groups.
Yes.
So
thank you.
Have a nice, wonderful evening and a profitable trading week ahead. Take care. Bye-bye for now.
Thank you. Bye-bye.